Hello, I'm back for another language episode, and today we're going to be talking about the word potato. Now, why are we talking about the word potato? We've been talking about a lot of the justice system and the judicial system. We even got into Greek, and I'm not that good at Greek, so I'm going to keep it simple. And today the word is potato. Now, why did potato come up for me? Kartoffel. Kartoffel. The word kartoffel came up, and I thought it was funny. So kartoffel means potato in Danish as well as in Russian. And knowing me, always thinking about root words and what words mean on a deeper level, I said, well, what does this word mean? Like, how do they come up with that? And so I said, the first part of the word is cart. That's the root word, essentially. K-A-R-T. And so you've got carte, K-A-R-T-E, and then the simple is cart, like a basket or a push cart that you would carry groceries in. Now, the word cart means papyrus or paper. And so that's interesting. And then when I looked deeper, I said, well, what does that mean? And it starts to give you the feel of money. Because if you look at awful, if you automatically, like I had an automatic knowing of what that word means, you know it means food, like trimmings or like scraps of food is awful. And so it can mean like leftovers or scraps of food from like things that you cook. So it's kartoffel. It's like the leftovers. There's money in the leftovers, right? And then if you look up potato and look into what does pot mean, pot is like potent, or it means piteous, like powerful. So pot means powerful. So it has this sense of powerful in it as well. And then Ado. The closest root word I could find to Ado was auto, which means autonomous or self. And so it's like powerful self or empowering. Now, if you want to know where potatoes came from, where did they come from? Potatoes came from the Andes Mountains. So the folklore about potatoes and the origin of potatoes comes from the Andes Mountains and the Inca tribe. The reverence for potatoes is centered around the goddess Oxamama. Oxamama and potatoes were considered sacred, and oftentimes potatoes were buried with the dead. They were also stored and preserved, even freeze dried, for time. So I mentioned that kartoffel is the same in Russian. You'll also see kartoshka, and ashka means little, and so it's like little potato. And then, so not necessarily having the same root words, the root words in our indigenous languages are a little bit different, but it means a similar thing. So in Dene, Namashi Yashi, and I may be pronouncing it incorrectly, but that's totally different spelling, and it means little one or like little potato. It's the same thing it means in Russian, which is ashka. One last one is tartufalo. Similar to, uh, oh gosh, hold on. So you've got kartoffel and then you've got tartufalo. Tartufalo is a little bit different. Tart refers to more of a truffle, often used in olive oil. It's very good flavor. And so, if you think about it, potatoes grow similar to mushrooms. Mycelium grow under the earth and they decompose things and they grow out of the earth. So those are just a few examples. It shows you how all languages are connected. Even when you interact with other cultures, you bring those meanings together, even if you don't share a similar root or origin. But I've got one last meaning to share with you. What are potatoes, or what do you think of that potatoes are typically used to produce? French fries. Frying potatoes is very common. And then you have vodka. Vodka comes to mind because German vodka and Russian vodka is something that is very widely sold throughout the world. And this potato plant was taken from these indigenous places and spread worldwide. And so, potatoes are, a lot of people think of like Ireland and Russia or Germany when they think of potatoes, when really they came from an very indigenous place that's in a totally different part of the world. The Inca tribe, one of the oldest indigenous cultures in the world. Anybody ever heard of Zimkov? If you look up the name Zimkov, it is a surname. It's very rare today, but it's a Russian surname. There's maybe like one or two of them left if you look deeper into it. But why do for personally, I don't drink vodka. If you look at the name of potatoes in different languages, you'll find a couple that are disturbing. There are a couple of racial slurs that come from the name potato, and some use the word bat, like batata. And bat actually means battered, not necessarily battered and fried, but violently battered and abused. And so vodka and potatoes have also not only been associated with famine, but with violence. And so my question is, do you have a good potato today? Or and I do want to touch back on mushrooms. Some mushrooms are poisonous and some of them are edible and delicious. A great protein replacement. These mushrooms, natural mushrooms that just grow under the earth, that's what composts your soil. It's what breaks down dead animals, dead plants. It breaks it down into the soil so that it can be recycled. But sometimes if you eat those mushrooms, they can be poisonous, just like alcohol or just like a food. Some people can't even eat potatoes because they're too starchy. They're too high in carbohydrates. So maybe sweet potatoes or no potatoes at all. Just a little bit of humorous information about how you can dive deeper into language and figure out what you're actually saying sometimes. Some people use words their whole life and have no clue what they're saying. But I want to bring a deeper meaning to, you say potato, I say patata.